Welcome in, everybody, to the Jays Digest pregame show. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. We got Cardinals, we got Jays coming up. The Battle of the Birds in about 35 minutes time. Thank you for joining us on today's live stream. We're going to be previewing the lineups. We're going to give you our bold predictions, our rapid fire questions. Cannot wait for this game. I said I wanted the off day yesterday because opening day was a little hectic, but I take it back, Nick. I felt empty yesterday without baseball. I didn't know what to do with myself.
It
I was
was
just at
weird.
home. I was at home. I was watching the other games, and I'm like, man, I wish the Jays were playing right now. But they're back today, and Kevin Gausman on the mound. Today's a good day.
Yeah, lineups, some controversy going on Jay's Twitter land between who should be starting. We'll get into all of that. Hopefully my screenshots work. Just a heads up, my chapters are not working, so most of my stuff isn't working, but we'll work on it. I was late today, but I'm happy baseball's back, and we're in for probably, I don't know how many more off days we have over the next month. I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but it's not very many. It's not very many at all. Might be
I'll look.
Yeah, have a look. It might be a couple. What's up, Mantis, Matt, Chuck, Nick? Also, if you've noticed, we have a new base bar with the updated standings. Now, I wasn't able to get today's updated, so this is still after the first day, but you'll see a little surprise at the end of the base bar for all you members down there. So Nick, Matt, all you guys who are members in here, your names should pop up on the base bar at the bottom. I worked on doing that past couple days, and I'll have it, especially after an opener like that. Exactly, an unbelievable opener. Not we talked about firing the technical director. Shane, it's been rough. I got the base bar updated though. We got standings base bar, and we got some new names there. But okay, the screenshots work. The screenshots do work, so that's all we needed. Renovations moved back to April 28th. I did not see that. Did you see that, Peter?
No, I didn't.
So Chuck,
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Because home opener is on the 11th. I guess are they just it's gonna be a half working stadium. Yesterday was good for our entire bullpen to rest. Bullpen's fully healthy today, and I'm ready to get excited here. And again, first pitch is in about half an hour. Last game was super long. Hopefully this game isn't as long. I'm kind of used to the fast-paced baseball these days. It's getting good. And again,
all right, so I got the schedule pulled up here. I got it pulled up. The next off day is April 10th, which is after the Angels series. It's because they're traveling from Anaheim. Oh, he got us. He got us.
Chuck, we were gonna do something like that for you guys, but we
yeah, we got a bit of a late start, so we didn't have time to plan it out.
Nice one, Chuck. Bo Bichette bald.
Was a good one.
How many of you guys believe the Bo Bichette being bald? I don't know if you guys
that I didn't believe. I didn't believe anything except for Chuck's thing that I saw today.
I don't know. I believe
good
that.
On you.
It makes sense. It would make sense.
You can't even give him a flame for that because it's not working. But
I can't.
Oh, there you go.
Half of my animations are working today. It's rough. Okay, let's get into the lineup previews once again. Okay, I can't turn the flames off, so I guess we're keeping those here for the time being. But I guess we're keeping the flames off. Technical difficulties today. Technical difficulties. Enjoy the flames for the meantime. Lineup previews right here. That gets rid of them. Perfect. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Shout out to everyone in here. It's been a rough day for me. But starting lineup for the Blue Jays, we have George Springer at the 1, Bichette, Guerrero, Varsho, Chapman, Belt, Jansen, Biggio, and Kiermaier. Peter, of course, Gausman taking the hill. What are your thoughts on this lineup? The main thing here is Biggio's in. Espinal, again, is not playing, and we have no Alejandro Kirk in the lineup, unfortunately, with Jansen down there in the 7 hole and Chat moving up to the 5 hole. Chat and you as well, Peter. What are your thoughts on this lineup? Any disappointments there? Are you fairly happy with it? Yeah, shout out Matt with the fire.
I'm a little surprised that Danny Jansen got the nod for today's game because Alejandro Kirk, when he catches Kevin Gausman has an ERA under 2.5. When Danny Jansen catches Kevin Gausman has an ERA above 4.3. So that was one thing that kind of shocked me in today's lineup. I still expect Danny Jansen to catch maybe 2 out of 5 days and Alejandro Kirk to be there 3 out of 5 days, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I would have probably went with Kirk today just because he understands Gausman a little bit better, but maybe it's because he started to ramp up his spring training a little bit later on than Danny Jansen did, so that could be a wrinkle as to why he's in the lineup today. And Espinal, I mean, I get it. It's a righty on the mound, Jack Flaherty. You want to give Biggio a chance after that great at-bat that he had to get on base in Thursday's game, so... I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm okay with the lineup. The St. Louis Cardinals lineup kind of shocked me a little bit.
Yeah, which we'll get into in a second. One thing I want to mention here, and so regarding Espinal, I agree with you. Would like to see him in the lineup today. That being said, he's definitely going to play tomorrow against the left-hander Jordan Montgomery, so that would make a bit of sense there.
Yes.
And I'd rather Kirk in. He's a better framer for low pitches, and if you look at the ERAs between Jensen and Kirk while catching Gosman, albeit a fairly small sample size, Gosman is much better when Kirk is catching. But again, Jensen didn't play yesterday, so maybe they want to get him some run in, and we'd expect Kirk to catch Bassett tomorrow because that's what he was doing during spring. So I guess it'll all make sense. And it's too early for me to nitpick that stuff yet. And I nitpicked him a bit in the last video, not the news video, but the game before. So we'll let him be. And people agreed with us, by the way, on that. No, about John Schneider and his managing / coaching.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Otani sues Angels for lack of support, demands to be traded for a real team. It is April Fool's, but this could be true. Yeah, Otani losing that game, despite what he's doing, is crazy. But let's get into the Cardinals lineup here. And Peter Elliott, this is my first time looking at the Cardinals lineup. It goes to show how busy I've been today. But we have Donovan, Burleson, Goldschmidt, Arenado, Gorman, O'Neill, Walker, Kisner, and Edman. What surprises you about this? I already know a couple of them, but I'll let you dissect this lineup by whatever their manager's name is.
What's going on with Dylan Carlson now? I don't follow the St. Louis Cardinals too extensively, but what's going on with this guy? They refused to trade him in a Juan Soto package, and now he's not even starting in the first 2 games of their season. They're going with, I think his name is Alec Burleson, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
or something like that. And he hit 188 last year in about 45 at-bats. He was great in the minor leagues, don't get me wrong, but now they're playing him over a guy like Dylan Carlson, uh, and he's just nowhere to be found. I don't know. That's shocking to me. And
Yeah.
obviously, Wilson Contreras is out after wearing that 103 off the knee. That was tough. Hopefully, he's gonna be all right too.
Yeah, I hope he is. He's a great player, and honestly, looking at this lineup, still very scary, but definitely not quite as scary as on Thursday afternoon. As that lineup kept coming at us, and luckily for us, we get a couple of. I guess lucky for Kevin Gausman as well. A couple of, but knowing our luck, the 2 guys who aren't supposed to hit well are going to hit like 5 home runs. It's a good feeling when you want your guys on the bench to be playing. It means you have a stacked team. Agreed, Gary. Pistol Pete saying, "Let's go." Gausman with a 9K 1-run performance today. I'd agree. And when we get into our bold predictions for the game, we'll definitely get into that. Chuck saying Biggio might get more playing time than I thought. We'll see how he does today. He's playing second base today, which makes sense giving Witt the day off. We have so many second basemen. Catcher ERA is a discounted stat. I wonder why the Cards slot O'Neill at the 6th spot. I'd have him in the 2 hole. He is a very scary hitter. He hits lots of bombs. He is jacked. He is absolutely jacked. But yeah,
And another thing with what was it? Can you just
lineup?
pop up the Jays lineup for me? The Jays lineup. Kevin Biggio, I mean, if he didn't get on base against Jordan Hicks in that at bat, then maybe we're seeing Whit Merrifield in the lineup again today, or maybe we're seeing Espinal. But you kind of got to ride the hot hand. He started off the spring very well. He got a lot of run. And now you want to just see if he can sustain it over a period of time. And with the bat against righties, he's got more potential than Espinal. So you want to see if he can get off to a hot start. And I think that's the reasoning in putting him in today. And like you said, Nick, against the lefty tomorrow, Espinal mashes lefties, 800 OPS against them. He's going to be in there tomorrow, and we won't have to have this conversation. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see that Biggio gets the nod before him.
And also something to mention, Dylan's asked, do you think Espinal plays tomorrow? Does Witt get the start with the lefty on the mound? So I'm going to also mention this, and I think I might be right on this. So tomorrow, they give Witt the day off today. You get Espinal starting at second base tomorrow, and then I would assume Witt plays the outfield tomorrow against the lefty, would be my assumption. And then one of Kiermaier and Varsho sit out. I'd lean Kiermaier, probably put Varsho in center, and then Witt in left. So it makes tons of sense. And I agree, Biggio had a phenomenal at-bat, and we don't know. Maybe they probably had him scheduled to play today either way, but it's even easier that after the excellent at bat that he had, he took a walk. He's going to be in the lineup either way. It was a great walk. I have high hopes for Varsho this season.
They're managing the playing time very well so far, and that's a good point that you make there. I'd probably lean to sit Kiermaier as well, just because of the injury history. And Varsho had a great at bat against the lefty. He drove in a run on a sac fly, and he hit an absolute laser to left field, and he stayed in on that breaking ball. He took some good pitches. So even though he was only 1 for 5, he looked good against the left-handed pitching, which is something that was an Achilles heel for him last season. So hopefully he can keep that up. And Kevin Kiermaier, early on in the season, you want him to stay healthy. So give him the day off, put Whit Merrifield in left field, and then we get our first look at Varsho in center field.
I think that's likely. Shane says Lucas will play left, Whit will play center. I mean, maybe if they want to give Lucas an early look, that's also possible. Though I can't imagine
But
him
against
resting.
the lefty?
Yeah, I can't imagine them resting both Varsho and Kiermaier, especially against lefty. I love when Teal laughed after all that mess shows again while we traded him. Now I'm gonna just go on the record and say that was not a bad throw by Teo. I don't think. I think it just got. I mean, it just hit the runner, or it hit Mike Zunino at first base on the sac fly there. So
yeah, it hit the runner, and I want to say something here as well.
I saw your tweet. I know
because I went on Twitter, okay, and it was probably my most liked tweet of all time. I'm not even gonna lie, but 14 likes. Yeah, getting up there, moving up there in the world. But I don't like when we just monitor players that we traded away. Now, I like the trade. I've been on record saying it was the right move to make for the Blue Jays. But are we gonna post every time Teoscar Hernandez hits a home run? Are we gonna because let's remember, the last memory we have of Teoscar Hernandez is him hitting 2 home runs in the AL wildcard game against the Seattle Mariners. And that was a core memory for me. I was at that stadium, and I saw how much he loves the fans, how much he appreciated that ovation that we gave to him after his historic performance in the playoffs. And okay, it didn't work out. He wasn't the right fit on this team for a team that wants to win a World Series. But man, why do we have to harp on each and everything that he does now with Seattle? He's not on the team anymore. He's not a Blue Jay. He never will be a Blue Jay again. So we don't have to talk about him. We don't have to talk about Lourdes Gurriel. We can watch the games, but why do we have to critique every time he strikes out or misses a hidden run or something like that? Just get over it.
Peter's rant of the day. Peter's rant of the day.
My rant
also,
of the day. It happens every video. It happens every video. I'm like the angry old man.
Speaker of
shaking his
ex-Blue Jays, Robbie Ray had a rough go, and Seattle fans are going at Robbie Ray. They do not like Robbie Ray. I was on their Reddit, stalking their Reddit a bit, and no one liked him. Also, regarding the base bar, I'll have it fixed for the next stream. I realize I had the members, all you members out there, your names are gonna pop up at the bottom of the base bar next stream. I promise. Your names will be there. Mike, Matt, everyone. Owen, what's up, Owen? Shout out everyone in here. Make sure to hit the like button. I said it while Peter was on his rant. I can't hit the button anymore, but I used it once, so make sure to hit the like button. It means a lot. Have a go anyway. Amazing night the other night. Hopeful for Gausman to 27 up, 27 down. That would be great. But let's get into the rapid fire questions, which unfortunately chapters won't work. But Peter, what is your rapid fire question for today for the chat? If you're new here, Peter and I ask each other questions, and we get your opinion on the answer as well. What's up, Adam? New segment. Peter yells at Cloud. We might have to add a Greg Zahn segment for Peter. But
you gotta put like me with it cropped into.
We could
like
definitely get a graphic on the go for that. We could definitely every time you.
I'm not that angry. Just some things just. I do agree with the. And I gotta let you guys know.
All right, what's your rapid fire question for the day? Chat. Get ready to answer. Make sure to hit the like button. Let's get up to 25 likes. That's the goal. Do I have to pay to be a member? I got no monies. Yeah, Pete. It's $2.99 a month for the base here. But no worries if you being here is enough. But what's your rapid fire question, Pete?
So I'm gonna ask you on the subject of traded players. Now put your reporter hat aside or your journalistic hat aside. When a player gets traded away, do you still follow them and do you want them to succeed, or are you like low key just praying that they don't do well in their new team so you could win the trade?
No, so especially, I mean, there's a good point for the Teo thing. I want them to do well, and I definitely follow them because there's no really reason not to follow especially in a trade like this, just to see how the trade will end up. But I honestly wish success on both sides. A win-win trade is kind of what I hope for.
Me too.
Unless the player does something that is bad. But for Teo, I hope Teo does well, and I hope Varsho does well, and I hope it works out for both teams. But I'm gonna still follow Teoscar Hernandez. I'm just not gonna be. Yeah, I'm not going to be tweeting at his downfall or tweeting when he makes an error or anything like that. I might, if he makes a bad player, he's starting the season off, I think 0 for 8 or 0 for 9 with 5 Ks, which is, I'll see him swing.
Well, he did. Yeah. He has started, but like we know this about Teoscar Hernandez. He's streaky. He's very, he struggles in the outfield, But yeah, exactly. For like Mark said, just to evaluate the trade, like that's the most important thing. I'm not saying I'm preying on him striking out every game just so we look good for the Eric Swanson trade. That doesn't do anything for me. I want him to do well. I want him to get his money, and he was a great hitter when he was here. So let's acknowledge that.
Yeah, and especially because he was with the Blue Jays so long. Same with Lourdes. They were both kind of staples. So hopefully they do well. Taylor will sign for 25 to 30 mil a year next season if he has a big year. I think definitely. And hopefully he does have a good year. He gets paid, and maybe he gets paid and goes to the NL, so we won't have to get terrorized by him in the wild card game or anything like that going forward. But my rapid fire question will I don't know what I was going to ask. One based on the MLB this season. I guess I'll ask this question, and it's a pretty. I think at this point it's a pretty obvious answer. So I'm gonna ask it in two parts, and I'm gonna ask you, Peter, as well as the chat here. When we initially made the swap for letting Robbie Ray go and Kevin Gausman signed, were you happy, or were you a bit skeptical about picking Gausman over Robbie Ray? 'Cause I think now it's pretty obvious we made absolutely the right call. The Kevin Gausman deal is an absolute steal. But you, Peter, and the chat, at the time, were you happy or a bit upset that we chose Robbie Ray or chose Kevin Gausman instead of Robbie Ray?
I was happy because I watch a lot of baseball, and I was following Kevin Gausman, and he was with the Giants. And that year, where they won over 100 games, he was one of the main catalysts. Him and Logan Webb, they were two great pieces on that team, and his splitter was absolutely filthy. And if you look at the power hitters in the AL East, I mean, before it was Xander Bogaerts, it was Aaron Judge. Who else am I missing?
Devers.
Randy Rosarena, like all those guys are right-handed hitters, and obviously Devers is a lefty, but
Yeah.
most of the power in the division comes from the right-handed hitters. And Robbie Ray, not too great against right-handed hitters. He's got a lot of swing and miss in his game, similar to Kevin Gausman, but I don't trust that he's just a two-pitch pitcher. And he's had a lot of control issues in the past. That's not something that Kevin Gausman has ever dealt with. So I like the swap, and it looks like an absolute steal right now, considering Gausman's contract.
Yeah, Nick saying wasn't skeptical at all. Gausman was back in the upswing. Didn't know for sure if Ray would replicate his year in TO. And yeah, you have to understand that. Or you got to remember that when we traded for Robbie Ray, he had a 7.5 ERA or something from with the Diamondbacks, and we just traded him hoping for something. He turned into. I was always happy with it. I wasn't, but I know a lot of people who weren't happy because, of course, Robbie Ray is a lefty. He threw 96, 97. Ray got us a comp pick. Gausman didn't cost us one. That's also a good point. Ray did get us a draft pick. Rachid saying I wasn't too happy at the time. Yeah, that's fair. I know a lot of people weren't. Ultimately, though, I think we're all pretty happy. We got Kevin Gausman, one of the best pitchers in the MLB, and definitely one of the best pitchers in the AL. And I have just as much confidence with Gausman going to the hill than I do with Manoah now. And then tomorrow is going to be the big test. I'm very interested to see Chris Bassett, which is going to be pretty exciting. Ray was a one-season wonder. I didn't care about Ray leaving. I was more concerned with Semien, which turned out to be no big deal.
Yeah, Semien was the one that hurt. Yeah. I got my question for you, Nick, if you're ready.
Yep.
Did you see Nate Pearson's debut in AAA?
I did.
1 1/3, 3 strikeouts. Looks good, man. He looks good. Does he come up before or after April 25th?
It's a very good question. I'm very curious to see what Chad has to say. So does Pearson get called up? I'm going to go later. I think he goes slightly later. Unless an injury happens, I think he goes later. But I think he's going to force himself onto the team soon. I think he's going to force himself onto the team.
Is he the first man up?
Yeah, I think he definitely is. Okay. I think he's definitely the first man up. So whether an injury happens, an injury could happen this weekend. Hopefully not, but an injury could happen this weekend or soreness or something like that, and something comes up. But I think Pearson's the next man up, and I'm thinking maybe mid-May or something. But I don't know. I thought he was going to make the team out of the jump. But the fact that they picked Zach Pop, who looked phenomenal, is good. And I think I saw it in the Blair and Barker podcast that they want Kevin Gausman or they want Zach Pop to be pitching in high leverage situations, like getting used to high leverage situations.
He'll get there.
I think so too. He has nasty stuff. Right-handed Andrew Miller. But yeah, anyways, Pearson September. I hope it's before September.
Before that.
I think he's the first man up.
Gotta be.
And even if even if a starter goes down, I mean maybe Zach Thompson, but he might be the first man up to go 2 or 3 innings into a bullpen day in opener. Of course, he had taxi squad as well. I don't know how many double headers we have. This year.
Another thing that stood out to me about Nate Pearson is that they want him pitching 2 innings at a time whenever he gets outings in Buffalo, which was interesting to me. I thought they would want him in 1 inning, high leverage situations, which he did get yesterday with in that 8th inning. But they want him pitching 2 innings at a time, which is something that stood out to me. So maybe he could even take over that Mitch White role, that long relief role, if his arm can hold up.
Yeah, I would like that. Definitely like that. Hit the like button. Let's get to 30 likes. 15 minutes away from first pitch, and I guess we'll move on now to our bold predictions segment of the show here. Bold predictions for today's game, Peter. I'll let you start. I have one that I'm gonna kind of go back to my old roots. Chat, let us know your bold predictions for today's game and see if you can come back in tomorrow's stream and see if we got any of them right. I don't think anyone hit on their. Maybe someone did hit on their last one from opening day, because there was a day in between. I don't really remember. But Peter, what is your bold prediction for today's game?
Is it bold to say Kevin Gausman double-digit strikeouts?
Nah.
It's not bold?
I mean, maybe it's a bit bold. I'd say pair it with something else.
You don't think he'll have like a little pitch count on opening day?
Maybe it's possible. He did pitch like 80 or 90 though in a spring training game, so I'd assume he.
I think his max is 90 today. 90, 95. So
I would agree.
I think that's bold.
Okay, we'll go with double-digit strikeouts. Mine's just going to be a Varsho home run and a Biggio great game, whatever that quantifies. I'm just going to, whether that's...
So nice plays at second base, good base running.
Yeah, maybe a hit here and there. He could go 1 for 4 and still have a great game. He could go 0 for 3 with like 2 walks and have a phenomenal game. Biggio homers twice. That is very bold, kid. Also, if you're new, bold. Hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers. We hit 6,600 yesterday. It's been going really well. We thank you for all the support, and thanks to all the members, Nick, Matt, Adam, O, everyone is in here. Inside the Parachrome.
I got an over under for you, Nick.
Yep.
Got an over under for you, Nick. So for the season, will George Springer hit a over or under 800? Probably over.
Yeah, over on the way that
833 right now.
The real question is, how many more bloop singles is he gonna have? Because I feel like he used all of his bloop single luck in one game. 4 of them.
Darts.
Yeah, 4 of them were under 70 miles per hour off the bat. This is my favorite lineup. Kirk's season last year was a fluke, and I wish he was traded instead of Morano. That is a bold take. That is a very bold take. I don't agree, but
no, I don't agree. I don't agree either.
Also,
I don't agree.
I think if we would have kept Morano, our team would not have been nearly as good right now for this year.
And another question I had for you, Nick, is we touched on this last year when we didn't even have nearly as many subscribers as we do now. But I brought up a fact that Gabriel Moreno, whenever he catches, or for the Blue Jays, they had like an 8-pitcher ERA. Now, is that an element of randomness to you?
I think so. I think in this
case, or do you think he just wasn't ready to command the pitching staff?
I think the sample size was too small for me to make a real judgment on it. Though I will say that, of course, it's his first time catching MLB pitchers, so obviously I think the ERA inflation has something to do with that. But I think catcher ERA in general doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. Obviously, if there's a huge discrepancy or whatever, but I think it's more so what the I just don't know how much of an effect it has. I really don't know. Maybe it has more than what I think. But do you think it has a huge effect on who's catching? I think it does, depending on the pitcher. But I think in general, catcher ERA is not the biggest stat that I use.
Not now, because the pitchers are calling their own pitches with that machine there on their gloves. So I don't think it has too much of an impact. But he wasn't really familiar with the pitching staff, wasn't great at calling games just quite yet. But now he's getting the chance to play every day in Arizona, and I think he's going to become a great prospect and probably become a better player than Alejandro Kirk down the line, or even Danny Jansen down the line, probably by next year when it comes to Danny Jansen. But we also got to remember that if they didn't give up Gabriel Moreno, they wouldn't have gotten Dalton Varsho. And then you had 3 catchers, and you trade Kirk for someone lesser, maybe like not even a Brian Reynolds, because they don't need a catcher. So who would you have been able to trade Alejandro Kirk for? Maybe Lars Nootbaar? I'd rather have Varsho on my side. Yeah.
Does Which might move into the bullpen and long relief when he's back, or fall into the rotation? I think definitely bullpen, but I think it depends on how Yusei Kikuchi does on, I'm assuming he pitches Tuesday. Monday? Tuesday. Definitely Tuesday. He pitches Tuesday when Yusei Kikuchi, unless there's an off day there, which there isn't. So yeah, he pitches Tuesday. Yeah. All right, I guess we'll move into the Q&A segment now. Any questions you guys have about today's game, I'll pop up the lineups once again. This is the Blue Jays lineups. We're around 10 minutes away from first pitch. Make sure to hit the like button. Shout out to the 70 plus people in here. We're hit the like button. Let's get to 30 likes. And this is the, of course, Springer, Bichette, Guerrero, Varsho, Chapman, Belt. So a lot of two differences basically. Kirk and Whit Merrifield out, Biggio and Jensen in. Kevin Kiermaier again back at center field. He's been playing unbelievable. And it's funny how when we first made our reaction video to that, we thought that he was going to be the fourth outfielder. And then he came out saying that he's going to be the starting center fielder. He said that early. And it ultimately ended up being, I'm very happy with him at center field. He fits our team perfectly, I think.
Me too. He runs the bases so well, and he just adds a different component to this team. His leadership, his clutch ability, and I gave him the nickname in last video. I gave him the nickname Captain Clutch, and I think he's going to be that all season long. He's got a knack for the big moment. He forgets how to hit when there's no one on base, but when there's people on base, hey man, he's up there and he comes through. So I've loved the addition so far. He saved a run with a sliding catch. So we saw the full Kevin Kiermaier versatility toolbox on display last game, and hopefully whenever he's in there and healthy, we can see the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll have a question for you guys here. Who do you think is going to have a better season, Yusei Kikuchi or Jose Barrios? I know we've asked this a few times in spring training, but I want to ask it again, as a lot of people are bringing it up. Peter, I think you're on record saying Barrios, right? A better season than Kikuchi. Yeah. I guess we can go by ERA. I think they're going to be pretty close. I think Kikuchi has a much, much better year than he did last year. And I also think Barrios has a much better year.
He can't be much worse than
I think he was the worst pitcher in baseball, so I'd hope so.
He was the fourth worst pitcher Barrios? In baseball. Yeah. And another stat that I mentioned was Yadier Molina, the guy who managed him at the World Baseball Classic, had a higher pitching wins above replacement than Jose Barrios did, which is insane to me. How does that even happen?
And he pitched a lot. How do
you let that happen? Yeah, he did pitch a lot, and he's an innings eater. You know that he's not going to miss starts. He won't be hurt. So that's one thing you could rely on with Jose Barrios. I think he's going to have a bounce-back year. You can't be much worse statistically. And if he can locate his pitches better and not hang them over the middle of the plate, then he'll be okay, I think.
I agree. We have one Kikuchi, Baseball India, Barrios. Again, let's get to, I got the 30 likes. Thank you all. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. And yeah, we're on 9 minutes now from first pitch. Kikuchi will be better than Barrios this year. I think it will be interesting when Ryu returns. He might have 6 good starters. Holding out hope for Ryu, and depends how it all goes there. Maybe Moreno caught Kikuchi and Barrios on the road all the time. Framing pitches is very important, and I wonder if baseball's making so many changes. I wonder if they do robo umpires at some point in the next 5 years. I wonder. I think so.
Randy Rosenberg is a prime example as to why it should be happening. If you guys remember that spring training game where he threw out JT Realmuto, Randy Rosenberg may be out of a job, as well as some other umpires if they keep pulling antics like that.
Yeah, just like basketball refs having a bad. Hopefully the ump on the opening day was pretty horrible too. Actually, not to rag on the umpires, but it was not great. I think he ended up being 4% worse than average, or much more than that on the umpire scorecard. It was a rough go, and he called that one pitch that favored us like 5 feet outside. It was one of the worst calls I've seen from. The Adam Simber effect. I guess the umpire got spooked by. It was Dan Iasonia.
The worst part is that it's 82 miles an hour. How do you get fooled by 82? You can see that with your eyes closed.
Submarine release. How will robot ump eject real?
That was bad. That was bad.
How will a robot ump eject Real Muto? And the weird thing about that ejection was it wasn't even to do with. I guess it was to do with the pitch clock. Though I guess now, well, of course, if robo umpires get implemented, it would be more so the umpires will still be there, making the strike and ball calls and managing the pitch clock. It would just be they wouldn't be calling the strikes, which is fine with me. They can keep their job, though I hope that, but not have any power.
Hernandez on the base. It's just no Angel Hernandez on the bases.
He's an interesting ump. Anything you want to say, Peter, before we wrap up? We're close to the first pitch here. I know everyone's excited. I'm super pumped for today's game. Super pumped. Kevin Gausman, I got some work to do, but I got to watch it.
Yeah, shout out to NFL and MLB asking for a shout out here. You can become a member. You get your shout out every video
at the base bar.
You get one every video on the base bar. So yeah, shout out to each and every one of you that have been in here the entire pregame live stream, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this game. I'm excited to see Kevin Gausman on the hill. He had a great spring training, a dominant spring training, and I think he's going to keep it going. I think he'll be in the Cy Young conversation, and each and every one of you guys are the real MVPs, sticking with us through spring training and supporting us in our pregame live streams, our postgame videos. It's just been great. So hopefully we can keep it going all year long.
Yeah, and we'll have a post-game video for you guys today, so you can review a borderline call. What'd you say, Sarah Shane? Oh, the main idea currently is robot umpires to be back up and able to review calls. Okay, no one's behind the plate. No worries, NFL.
Final score, Nick. Final
Yeah.
score. We need a final score.
Gary saying, what's the final score projection? 6-3 Blue Jays.
6-3. I'm going 3-2 Blue Jays today.
Pitching battle.
I think a low scoring game. And it's going to be much quicker game today. 2 hours and 6 minutes.
I would not mind that because I have schoolwork to do. So the faster this goes, the better.
I'd go 3-2.
4-2 from Gary saying I think low scoring today. I think we light up Jack Flaherty. What's up, Trip? Fist bump. I think we light up Jack Flaherty.
Might not be that easy.
I know. I'm hoping we do, but there's a chance we don't. And make sure to, again, hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the content. Peter, anything else, or you want to wrap up now? 5 minutes before first pitch.
Thanks, guys. We're going to wrap up now, and thanks to each and every one of you that took the time today to like, comment, and even subscribe. We'll see you in the post-game video.
Yeah, enjoy it, and enjoy the game today. It'll be super exciting, and enjoy your Saturday afternoon of baseball. See you later today if you tune in, or tomorrow for a pregame show.